Thank you. This is a picture of Compassion, a dance teacher at the Bates Dance Festival, trying so hard to understand why her student is having trouble with his posture. And for me, a photograph doesn't begin just with a subject, it begins with a theme like compassion. I was feeling that compassion in a lot of the classes at Bates, and I wanted to tell that story. The theme here is composure. And do I need to say more? And part of the joy of being a photographer is being witness to very strong, wonderful ideas. Can you guess what the theme is here? It's energy. It flows through the image. But I want to do more than just show you images. I want to come back to each of these and talk about how they're made, what went into them, some of the false starts, I'll call them. This is a picture of focus. Each one of those students is so intently focused on their teacher, and with good reason. And finally, a picture of freedom. What does freedom look like or feel like? Each of these is also a story of, I wish there were another word for failure. Best efforts, wrong result. And artists have this all the time. And we don't say we failed, we messed up. Now here I began trying to photograph that compassion. Yes, there's a good example of it. I don't think it works in any way. It's not an interesting composition. It's not a picture you want to frame and hold on to. That's getting a little bit better, but still, I won't say anything negative, but I didn't feel that I had reached my goal. And I took many, many photographs. Here's an index sheet of some of them, and you can see the variety of what I explored and how I tried to move around and move in and move out and change my angle and wait for them to change. And finally, I did find one of the pictures. I believe it's the top right in that index set. And I said, yes, that's the picture that I want, but it feels empty on the left, and there's a little bit of clutter on the right, and it doesn't carry that sense of balance and weight that I wanted to be part of this picture of compassion. And I don't do a lot with Photoshop, but I found that just simply cropping it into a square restored the energy that I thought that it should have. And I said yes, and I could stop. And then I went and spent a day photographing in this yoga class. And I'm showing here a variety of the images that I took of her in her poses, of her working with students, of her moving, of more active yoga. And I kept returning to the images like this one. Again, it's cluttered, it's got a water bottle, it's got part of a dancer, it's got some other stuff that I really don't care about. In this case, it was not hard to just crop it, get rid of a lot of the stuff that I didn't need. No, a square is not my standard way of solving all problems. It just happens to occur twice in a row. In fact, I don't even want to use the word problem. I want to talk about the opportunity of recreating some of what I not only saw, but what I felt. And then I was photographing this very active class. The energy was all over the place. And I sometimes have to do what I call rephotographing, looking at larger images that have a lot of detail and picking just pieces of it that I couldn't do as it happened in real motion. By the way, the blur is not a mistake. It's not best efforts, wrong result. It gives voice to some of the movement. And that's something that I want to do. And then that teacher who commanded so much focus. And there are pictures that I took of her facing the students, of her dancing and facing us. They're beautiful, but that doesn't show anything about the students' connection with her. And finally, one of the pictures in the upper right of what I just showed you, but what a cacophony of colors that only get in the way. And I said to myself, if only I could get rid of that. Well, I could. I turned everything except the dancer into a very light sepia. It's not hard to do in Photoshop. I don't call that manipulating the photograph. I call it restoring it to what I saw and felt. I saw her, and surrounding her, I saw a whole set of advocates so totally focused on her. And then my beautiful little dancer jumping up, and I was just thrilled to photograph her until I looked at the last picture and I said, ugh, she's jumping up and her hands are out of the frame. I thought that I was better than that. And then I looked at it and I said, Arthur, that's perfect. She is going up into the sky and her hands are already there. Arthur, connect your heart and your eyes a little bit better and you'll be just fine. Thank you.